Hi guys, me and this webcam. Me and this webcam. Oh, we are something else. I wish I could find the controls. I'm gonna try something with the webcam. I need a new one. That's gonna be no. My next item is gonna be a cell phone because this thing here drives me crazy. It's good to me though. It's over 3 years old. My son bought me this phone for Christmas over 3 years ago. And oops, okay, let me get the screen off of here. I was trying to find the webcam. Anyways, yeah, so he purchased this for me over 3 years ago. I didn't have the right kind of coating to put on it. That's why it looks like this. So I cut a couple pieces and put them on there, but it has protected this phone. This phone has taken falls out of my hand while I was walking and it hit the cement. And I mean like walking vigorously, and it has fallen and flown on cement. And the past week I've dropped it so much it's ridiculous. Even here, I dropped it in the oven right there. It fell into the oven while I was putting the chicken. What happened was is I had some chicken. I was baking some chicken legs. I took them out to flip them over on the other side. And when I was putting them back in, my girlfriend was on the phone with me and I made a mistake and did this and held it and it slipped. The chicken fell first. The chicken slipped out of my hand. And thank God it didn't fall into the stove. It fell on the door, which I still don't like because all that chicken juice ran down in my stove. But it fell on the door. This fell in the oven. So that's how it got burned right there. Ridiculous. Oh, anyways, I'm sorry. I'm talking and I forgot. I titled this Emergency Kit because I got up this morning and forgive me, I just had my breakfast, a bowl of popcorn. So forgive me while I clean my teeth. But I got up and I went into one of my closets that I never go in. And I found this. This is my emergency bag. So I decided to look in it to see what was in it because I haven't been in it in a while. And they tell you when you set your emergency bag up, to constantly go through and update it and get rid of older things. Just replenish it. So I already made one video, but I thought I'll share it with you guys. And you all can let me know what's in your emergency bag. Maybe you have something in yours that I don't have in mine. Maybe you don't have one. And so seeing mine will prompt you to make one. Maybe, anyway, maybe we can help each other out if I don't have something. Because the emergency bag just depends on what the emergency is. Whether it's a flood, whether it's a hurricane, whether it's a tornado, whether it's an earthquake, whether it's a fire, whether it's coronavirus, what we have going on. No matter what it is, they tell us to always have an emergency bag. So I'm one that listens, I guess sometimes. I didn't really listen. I went to some kind of a program on safety or something, and they gave everybody these bright orange bags so that they're easy to find. And if you have an emergency, you can find that bright orange bag, if you don't have a lot of orange in your house. But I'm going to pull it out and show you what's in mine. First, they gave us this laminating sheet. So, and you can see I didn't use mine. So I realized that while we have this downtime from while most of us have this downtime from the virus and from things shutting down, I should say, I said this will give me time to get things done. And it did. Excuse me, there go my teeth because I eat that popcorn. So I've got butter up under the teeth. So I got some filing done this morning, which was good. But I'm going to get some whatever important paperwork I think needs to be laminated. I'm going to make a copy and I'm going to put it in here. And I personally have some laminating sheets somewhere. I just don't know where they're at, but I can use those and laminate more than one thing. Because I'm thinking stuff like maybe your social security card or your birth certificate, your will, your end of life care papers, legal papers, financial papers, anything that's important that you'd like to have a copy of. But honestly, nowadays, everything's done online. Almost people have copies of everything. So a lot of things are digital and in clouds and wherever. But I wouldn't worry too much, except things like Social Security card, um, whatever, anything personal that you wouldn't want ruined, put it in here. And then I guess they gave us this FEMA prepared for emergencies now. And I guess in here they tell you what to do. Oh, they do. Recommended supplies to include in a basic kit. So let's just run down and see what they say. Water, 1 gallon per person per day for drinking and for sanitation. So I don't have a gallon of water in there. That's obvious. I was just thinking, because I don't buy gallons of water, but I do have bottled water. But they say FEMA recommends having 1 gallon per person per day for drinking and sanitation. Food, you should have at least a 3-day supply of non-perishable food. 3 days wouldn't do us well in a 2-week shutdown, but it would do us 3 days. And if you're able to, you can make food stretch anyways. If you have to, I should say, you can make food stretch. Battery powered radio and extra batteries. I think I do have a little tiny radio. It doesn't pick up much. It's a little novelty computer radio, I think, but it does run off of batteries. But I don't have that. I don't know if cell phones would work. So they're saying having a battery-powered radio and extra batteries. Sorry, I'm having a hard time talking because I just ate popcorn and I've got butter on the roof of my mouth. I've got butter on the teeth, and so they're like not sitting in there tight. Not that they ever do. That's why they fall out. Then they say have a flashlight and extra batteries. And that I thought I had a flashlight in there, but I didn't. Then it says to have a first aid kit, which I should probably get, but I have one in my car. So if I ever had to leave, I'd be in my car probably. So I have a first aid kit in my car. A whistle to signal for help. A filter mask or cotton t-shirt to help filter the air. That's an interesting one. A filter mask or a cotton t-shirt. I just made a video the other day talking about people telling me when I wear my mask that it doesn't protect against the coronavirus. And the example I gave them was, look, if I don't have a mask on and I walk outside and I do this, I believe some protection is better than none. I believe if there is a bug in the air, and oh no, I said if I do this, I'm sorry. That's what I said. I said if I believe if I do that, some protection is better than none. How is anything going to get through if you have 2 layers? Now we're not talking gases and things, but if you do this, that's 1 layer. Sure, you can still breathe through it and things, but if you really tighten up, and I'm not just covering, I'm squeezing too. That's protection. That's some is better than none, regardless of what people say to me. That's just my philosophy in life. Moist towelettes for sanitation. Wrench or pliers to turn off utilities. I don't have it in my bag, but I know exactly where they're at. Manual can opener for food. When I downsized, I gave, I think, like 3 can openers away, manual one, and I only kept 1. I should have read this sooner and put a manual can opener in there. But again, a lot of foods come with the pull off tap. And if you get creative enough or you're in a bind, you'll find a way to open a can of food. You will. Plastic sheeting and duct tape. to shelter in place. That's what they're saying you need that for. Garbage bags and plastic ties for personal sanitation. And then unique family needs, such as daily prescription medications, infant formula, or diapers, and important family documents. So that's interesting. You know, we should just go through this. Look at this. Let's just go through it because this is good information. So it says we'll just read it. This might be a long video, but my videos are always long. Unless I get too tired of talking. And then we got to stop. The likelihood that you and your family will survive a house fire depends as much on having, let me take these off, then I can see. The likelihood that you and your family will survive a house fire depends as much on having a working smoke detector and an exit strategy as on a well-trained fire department. The same is true for surviving a terrorist attack or other emergency. We must have tools and plans in place to make it on our own, at least for a period of time. No matter where we are when disaster strikes, just like having a working smoke detector, preparing for the unexpected makes sense. It does to me. It really does. Whether you use it or not. Look, when I went and bought all that food, when they said make sure you have 2 weeks of food, and I went shopping because I like to eat, and I bought all that food, and then I sat down and I thought, what if nothing happens? And I thought, who cares if nothing happens? Food in my home is not going to go to waste. So who cares if something happens? I mean, if something doesn't happen. You know, if you bought a lot of toilet paper, you're going to eventually use it. If you bought a lot of water, you're going to use it. If you bought a lot of food, it's going to get ate. Okay, 1, get a kit of emergency supplies. Be prepared to improvise and use what you have on hand to make it on your own for at least 3 days, maybe longer. While there are many things that might make you more comfortable, think about fresh water, food, and clean air. We don't even know if they've got clean air out there right now. Fresh water, food, and clean air. Consider 2 kits, it's saying. In one, put everything you will need to stay where you are and make it on your own. In the other, the other should be a lightweight, smaller version you can take with you if you have to get away. This is interesting. This is a darn shame. I've had this pamphlet for years and never read it. This is some good information. To have 2 kits, because the big orange one they gave us, this is a small one in case you have to get away. But this is some good information. So now I need to make another kit. And that one can be for if I have to stay here. At least I know everything's in one kit. You'll forgive the teeth. They keep falling out. You'll need a gallon of water. I don't even know if you guys can see it, but they do slip out and fall, especially when there's butter. You can't grip. You'll need a gallon of water per person per day for drinking and sanitation. I think we read that. Included in the kits a 3-day supply of non-perishable foods: tuna, Spam, Danish sausages, octopus, if you eat that, because they do have it in a can. Beans, that are easy to store and prepare, such as protein bars. Look, they even give examples. Let me just read the thing. Such as protein bars, dried fruit, or canned foods. If you live in a cold weather, I'm so glad I'm reading this, because sometimes you don't think about things. And I have to go out tomorrow. So I'll have a mask on, and I'm going to try to run to the store to pick up a few things. Because like I said, I shopped about 3 weeks ago. My 2-week stuff is dwindling. So I do need to go to the store. And dried fruit, I never thought about dried fruit because I'm so used to eating fresh. I go to the store almost every day when I'm out and about, and I'm so used to eating fresh every day. I didn't think about, I heard somebody say about getting frozen vegetables, and I thought, oh, I should have grabbed some of those. I do have okra and corn in my freezer, so that's good, but that's not enough, not the way I eat. But dried fruit will be good to have on hand. If you live in a cold weather climate, include warm clothes, and a sleeping bag for each member of the family. Ain't that the truth? Lord, I can't tell you how many times when I lived up north, I got stuck in cold and in snow. I used to drive raggedy cars that broke down, and you're out there cold. And so I learned what to keep in my trunk. I'm telling you, you live and learn. Some people don't like to listen to other people, but you need to sometimes listen to other people's experiences, because if they've been through it, sometimes they know more than what you know, no matter how educated you are. They know it from life experience. And I'm telling you, I kept, was it sand or cat litter? I think it was cat litter. I think I kept cat litter in my trunk because I got stuck on ice where I couldn't get off the ice, and you need that sand or that cat litter or and a blanket. You need something to give you that traction to get those tires off the ice. And salt, keep salt in there to try to melt some of the ice, but the ice I got stuck on was brutal. It didn't want to budge until we kept it in a blanket, but the tires kept spinning the blanket and just bunching it up. Clothes. I had blankets and clothes and extra shoes, socks, you name it, it was in my trunk. My trunk is still like that. I don't even live up north, but I still keep an extra set of clothes. My trunk is so full. I always tell people if somebody tried to put me in my trunk, they have to clean it out first. And it's just habit. I would, especially with my health, I like to have things near if I need them. So I've got extra shoes, extra clothes. I don't keep a blanket since I moved in the South. I probably should, but I don't keep a blanket the way I used to. I don't even really keep layers of clothes. Well, that's not true. I have a small, thin blanket on my back seat. It's thin. It wouldn't keep you too warm. And I do have a couple old jackets that I just keep in my car for like in the summer when you run into the store and the air conditioning's on and you've got summer clothes on and you're freezing. So I do keep a couple small, like old jackets that I would probably throw out. But yeah, being prepared is key, And when you're over prepared, you can always help somebody else. So let's keep going. We may not get through this. I might have to do a part 2. Some potential terrorist attacks could send tiny microscopic junk into the air. Many of these materials can only hurt you if they get into your body. So think about creating a barrier between yourself and any contamination. It's smart to have something for each member of the family that covers their mouth and nose, such as 2 or 3 layers of a cotton t-shirt. This is so interesting. I didn't know that. I'm worried about masks because of the COVID-19. And they're saying that, if it's a potential terrorist attack, microscopic junk can come into the air, and viruses are microscopic. So anyways, though, but oh Lord, I hope I'm not making this, I don't want to panic anybody that sees this video. I'm just finding this very interesting because I didn't know that you could use 2 to 3 layers of a cotton t-shirt, a handkerchief, or a towel. I mean, I know it, but I don't. Like when I didn't have masks, I keep saying it in every video how limited I am on masks. So even when I was going downstairs to check my mail, I wrapped up with my winter scarf because I knew that, like, who knows who's been in the building where I live? Who knows? So yeah, I wrapped with the scarf really good just for some protection. Actually, when people drop things off for me, I don't really let them come in because I can't have people dragging stuff in here. I'm trying to stay in here and stay well. Like my son's going to be bringing me some stuff. And I'm like, oh, please just leave it in the hall. Leave it by the door. Please don't bring it in here. It's terrible to be that way. But I cleaned and disinfected for a reason because I'm going to make sure I'm in a good, clean environment. And I'm going to try to stay that way. And when we had H1N1, I lived with other people. And I remember the fear that they would drag that in when I was staying in trying to get well. And I had just had surgery the year before H1N1. I was healing from surgery. Well, I had the surgery and I was still healing the year when H1N1 hit. So, my resistance was down too. So I was a little scared. I hate when people think you're not supposed to be scared. If you just had surgery and you have bad health and they're telling you H1N1 is out there doing the same thing this one's doing, taking people out. Sorry, I'm going to be a little afraid that I'm going to catch it. Not a fear where it runs my life, but a normal, healthy fear. We have emotions for a reason. Fear is an emotion. It's okay to have it, because to me it kicks in faith. I had anxiety over this one when I heard about this virus. Of course I do. I've got a respiratory illness. Of course I would have anxiety. But the fear that I have then kicks in my faith. It may take a while because I'm human, but it kicks in my faith to know that God's got this all under control. And if this thing would take me out, I'm going to be with Him. Win-win. Okay. So anyways, let's go back. Such as 2 or 3 layers of a cotton t-shirt, handkerchief, or towel, or filter mask. Readily available in hardware stores. Not today. Not today, Felicia. It is very important that the mask or other material fit your face snugly so that most of the air you breathe comes through the mask, not around it. Do whatever you can to make the best possible fit for children. Also include duct tape. Oh my goodness. Oh, okay. I thought they were going to say for the mask because I made a video the other day talking about the mask and somebody said, have you tried duct tape? And I thought they were being funny, like you talk too much. I said, no, have you tried it? So anyway, they're saying also include duct tape, heavyweight garbage bags, or plastic sheeting that can be used to seal the windows and the doors if you need to create a barrier between yourself and any potential contamination outside. That's interesting too. It's so interesting because think about this COVID. What if they told us? Because they are saying we don't know how it's spreading. We know it's spreading through community spread, but before they say that, they say we don't really know how this virus is spreading. Listen to what they say. Keep telling people that. I keep telling people, listen to what they say, listen to what they don't say, and it'll just help you get through this better instead of getting all panicky and thinking the world's coming to an end. Which if it does, I'm going to be with my Lord and Savior, win-win. So I have duct tape, but I don't think I have enough. If they would say you need to cover your windows, I don't have plastic bags. I think I've got like 2 plastic garbage bags. I don't use them because I'm here by myself, and I use the little grocery bags to put my stuff in. And so I don't keep big garbage bags. And my big garbage can is my recycling garbage can. And everything in there is recyclable. I put it in a paper bag and it goes out. So yeah, I wouldn't have any plastic. I'd have to, my shower curtain's not even really plastic. Yeah, and I don't have enough duct tape for as many windows as I have in this apartment. So that's something to think about. Okay, 2, we're only on 2. This is gonna be a long video. Make a plan for what you will do in an emergency. Plan in advance, which they always tell us that. What will you do in an emergency? Be prepared to assess the situation. Because my son is so unworkable with this stuff. Like I would have no clue where they would be at. We don't have any plan. Like, okay, if something happens, this is what we're going to do. That's why I like us to be together. Like when there's hurricanes coming through, I appreciate it when they come and stay here with me. I really do. But we don't have a plan. I wouldn't know where they were. Plan in advance what you would do in an emergency. Be prepared to assess the situation. Use common sense. Use common sense. That's what we need to do to get through these things, even COVID. Use common sense. If they are telling us social distancing, they're telling us for a reason. If they are banning functions of 100 and more people, they're doing it for a reason. It is not to punish us. I keep telling people that are complaining about, I'm bored and I have nothing to do. There's plenty to do. Plenty. I've been sick most of my life. I've been stuck indoors a lot in my life. There's so much to do indoors. Start a craft, paint, knit, sew. Learn something. If you don't know how to do those things, pull up a YouTube video and learn. If I could get caught up with my stuff, that's what I would do. My granddaughter has a sew machine here. I would crank that thing out and sit down and learn how to sew. I used to know how in home economics. I like sewing. But I'm telling you, when I spent that 5 months on life support, it took away a lot of my memory. I don't even remember things. People will ask me stuff. I'm like, no, I don't remember that. My family and stuff. So anyway, I would love to sew and make my own clothes. I'd love to. It'd be easier if somebody would teach me how to do it. But I'm not. I can sit down and watch a YouTube video and follow it and learn how to sew. But who has the time when you're ripping and running all the time? But anyways, yeah, there's plenty to do. You can clean. I've been cleaning all week to get this place, deep cleaned, and it still could use some. There's a couple things that haven't been wiped down yet because I'm tired. I'm tired. I got health problems. The chemicals are killing me. I clean with vinegar. I clean, because of my lungs. I clean and mop with vinegar. I wiped out everything with vinegar. I mop floors with vinegar. Um, but I'm not sure how well vinegar is with what we're dealing with. And so I'm trying to use the Lysol and things that say they kill 99.9% of all bacteria and viruses. I try to use that right now. And the chemicals burning the heck out of my throat. So let's keep going. I keep getting sidetracked. Where did I leave off? Make a plan. What will you do? Use common sense and whatever you have on hand to take care of yourself and your loved ones. Just be careful with the guns, folks, because people get crazy. That's why I said we can't afford panic. We cannot afford panic. Just don't panic. Watch Pandemic on Netflix and you'll know. Don't panic. It's uncalled for. You know what you see at Black Friday at the stores? That's what we would have if people start panicking. Just don't panic. Just ride it out. It is what it is. You can't do anything about it. It happened. It is reality. This isn't a, what do they call that? This isn't like a trial run. This is reality. This is what's happening in our world. You know, don't let it scare you. Just get prepared. It's scary when you're not prepared. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna sit here and tell people, oh, don't worry about it. Don't be afraid. No, it's reality. There is a virus out there, and they keep telling us on the news about it. So we keep hearing about it constantly, and they're shutting things down, letting us know it's not safe. It's not safe. It's not safe. And they're letting us know every time they die, somebody from a different state dies. They're telling us all this. So, yeah, if you have anxiety, this will definitely increase your anxiety. But if you just do what they say and just prepare, you'll feel better being prepared. You really will. Like when I show you what's in my preparedness bag, I will tell you how it calmed me down a little bit. But just be prepared. I think that's the key. And the key is if they would just keep being honest with us, I don't think you'd have panic. People want the truth. I love Dr. Fauci. I believe he tells the truth. He told us this is going to get worse before it gets better. He told us we need to shut this stuff down so we don't have to climb a mountain of losses. And hopefully we can just climb a mound of losses because we've done the right thing. And if you pay attention and read, they have left things up to the states now. It's up to the state health officials and how each state handles this. Um, they've passed it on. You know, this is a pretty serious thing that we're in right now. And the people that aren't taking it serious, I don't get it because it is serious. Like when did they shut the library? And the only thing that I don't even mean to laugh, it just boggles my mind. The only thing that's basically really going to be running is like your businesses that need to, your gas stations and grocery stores. Like this is going to be something else to come back from. Like I just want to tell people, welcome to the new normal, because things are not going to go back the way they were. Things will get better. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that. I'm not doom gloom. Even though I know the end in the Bible is doom gloom, I'm not a doom gloom. I don't think we're there. I think that we're in for a new normal. I think life is going to change as we know it. It's going to have to come back from this. Do you know how many people and businesses and things are being affected by this? This is not a hurricane that went through. This is a virus that is shutting down a lot of stuff because it's serious and it's reality. So just be careful and be prepared. The more prepared you are, the better you feel. Let me keep going. Develop a family. Guys, I'm so sorry. I get sidetracked so easy. Develop a family communications plan. Your family may not be together when disaster strikes, so plan how you will contact one another and review what you will do in different situations. Like I said, we haven't done that. Consider a plan where each family member calls or emails the same friend or relative in the event of an emergency. I said my family needs to do that, my family back home, because we're a big family. Thought I wouldn't have known. Nobody called me, nobody. And I've always said that we need a phone tree. And when there's an emergency, each person should be assigned to a specific person. But sometimes my family's so dysfunctional, that person may not be speaking to that person. If there's an emergency, they might be like, I ain't calling them. So I think you should have a couple people. But the fact that things happen and sometimes I don't even know about it, I'm like, oh, I didn't know about that. And my niece in Florida is kind of the same way. I'll tell her things and she'll say, oh, nobody told me. I'm like, I know, terrible. Bad communication. It may be easier to make a long distance phone call, which I've got to call my one niece. She just became a grandmother. And I keep meaning to text her so she doesn't think I forgot, and I keep forgetting. But I'm going to just pull her name up on my phone and leave this thing alone. But because I don't want to forget to send her a text. So, oh, come on, phone. See, that's why the next ticket item on my list is a phone. Sometimes it works well, though. I hate to get rid of things when they work. Okay, there. At least she's in the text message. I will text her. When I'm done, it may be easier to make a long distance phone call than to call across town. So an out of town contact may be in a better position to communicate. That's interesting too, among separated family members. So that's interesting because I can remember, here we go. This is why the video is going to be 3 hours long. I can remember I was in the bathroom, and you guys know I've got a history of small bowel obstructions, and I was having some problems and I couldn't get to my phone. And when I finally managed to get to my phone, I called my son. He wouldn't answer. I had to call my sister back home and tell her to keep trying to reach him and tell him I was in trouble. And that's how, she kept trying and got him. And then he was able to come to my place. And he always has a key to my place so he can get in. So, yeah, so sometimes it's good to have that person out of town to be the contact. Be sure each person knows the phone number and has coins or a prepaid phone card to call the emergency contact. You may have trouble getting through, or the phone system may be down altogether, but be patient. See, be patient, be calm, don't panic. Depending on your circumstances and the nature of the attack, the people that want to panic, I just want to say to them, think about in school when we used to have fire drills. And the fire drill would go off. If all of us kids panicked, we would have stampeded one another. But it scared us, but the teachers got us calm, got us in line, made us walk in a straight line. There was order, and that's why there wasn't chaos. There was order, and we all got outside, and we all got outside safely. Now imagine if that bell went off. Everybody panicked and started running. That's why we cannot afford to panic. We've got a pandemic all over the world. We can't panic. We just have to get in that straight line and follow the directions. Okay, depending on your circumstances, let me get through this. Or I might have to make a second part. I might do that because I don't want to rush through it. It's good stuff, but I just get sidetracked. Depending on your circumstances and the nature of the attack, the first important decision is whether you stay put or get away. Right now, the answer is stay put. You should understand and plan for both possibilities. Use common sense. That's the second time this said that. Use common sense and the information you're learning here to determine if there's an immediate danger. If people would use common sense right now. Okay, watch television and listen to the radio for official instructions as they become available. Oh, do not believe everything on social media. I cannot believe the stuff I hear. Some people think Black people can't get the COVID-19. I'm like, where does this stuff come from? Oh, this virus knows no boundaries. Oh my goodness. Watch television and listen to the radio for official instructions as they become available. Create a plan to shelter in place. There are circumstances when staying put and creating a barrier. Let me see. I don't know why I always wear, because I'm always cold and then I get hot when I start making videos and drinking tea. And I start sweating. Watch television. Here we go. Create a plan to shelter in place. There are circumstances when staying put and creating a barrier between yourself and the potentially contaminated air outside, a process known as sheltering in place, and sealing the room can be a matter of survival. Okay, if you see large amounts of debris in the air, or if local authorities say the air is badly contaminated, you may want to shelter in place and seal the room. Consider pre-cutting plastic sheeting to seal windows, doors, and air vents. Wow. Yeah, I'd be trying to tape together some plastic shopping bags. Yeah. Each piece should be several inches larger than the space you want to cover so that you can duct tape it flat against the wall. Label each piece with the location of where it fits. I would have a hard time anyways taping up. It would take me a long time. Use all available information to assess the situation. That's what a lot of people don't do. They get a little bit of information and they run with it. That's what, yeah. So use all the available information to assess the situation. If you see large amounts of debris in the air, or if local authorities say the air is badly contaminated, you may want to shelter in place. Quickly bring your family and pets inside. Lock doors and close windows. Air vents and fireplaces. Close windows, air vents, and fireplace dampers. I don't have to worry about that. Just windows and air vents. Immediately turn off air conditioning. Good stuff. I wouldn't think about this kind of stuff. Forced air heating systems, exhaust fans, and clothes dryers. See, I turned my air on yesterday. I kept saying I didn't even want to turn my air on unless I wasn't in here because you don't know what has set in the vents through the whole winter. But it was so hot in here yesterday. It was like 78 degrees in here. It was so hot. So I did turn my air on yesterday. But this is not about the virus. This is talking about if there's like contaminated air. Take your emergency supplies. That's interesting though. If they say to do all that because there could be contaminated air, so can viruses come through like your clothes dryer, your vent? Well, I know it can come through a vent system if it's not done properly. That's so interesting. Take your emergency supplies and go into the room you've designated. Seal all windows, doors, and vents, and understand that sealing the room is a temporary measure to create a barrier between you and the contaminated air. Watch TV, listen to the radio, or check the internet for instructions. Oh, I thought they were saying like sit down and watch TV, just chill. Create a plan to get away. Plan in advance how you will assemble your family and anticipate where you will go. That's another thing I wish my son would sit down and do with me, but if there was an emergency and he had to go south and I had to go north, we'd have to go separate ways anyways. So plan in advance how you will assemble your family and anticipate where you will go. Choose several destinations in different directions so you have options in an emergency. If you have a car, keep at least a half a tank of gas in it at all times. Most times I'm good at that. Every now and then it gets down to the light. But most times I'm pretty good with gas because I can't be walking if I run out of gas. Become familiar with alternate routes as well as other means routes. Become familiar with alternate routes as well as other means of transportation out of your area. If you do not have a car, well, most of us have GPSs, even on our phones. If you do not have a car, plan how you will leave if you have to. Take your emergency supply kit. Just a big orange bag, which is what the video was supposed to be about. Unless you have reason to believe it is contaminated. And lock the door behind you. Take pets with you if you are told to evacuate. However, if you're going to a public shelter, keep in mind they may not be allowed inside. If you believe the air may be contaminated, drive with your windows and your vents closed. And keep the air conditioning and the heater turned off. Listen to the radio for instructions. But the vents in the car, they don't like really close tight, so stuff could still come through, I guess. But anyways, that's what they say to do. Like I said, good stuff. No emergency plans at school and work. Think about the places where your family spends time, school, work, and other places your family frequents. Talk to your children's schools and your employers about emergency plans. Find out how they will communicate with families during an emergency. Most schools are pretty good with that automated stuff. I know my son gets automated calls like every week, to say what's going on. If you are an employer, be sure you have an emergency preparedness plan. Review and practice it with your employees. A community working together during an emergency also makes sense. A community working together. If people could get that. If people could get that you got to work together. That's what I said about the toilet paper. Don't panic. Somebody will give you a roll of toilet paper if you need it. You may have to go through 10 different people. But if you need a roll of toilet paper, you will eventually roll up on the right, no pun intended. You will eventually roll up on the right person who will give you a roll of toilet paper. Like they will. Or if you need a slice of bread. I don't really eat bread. But if I do have some hot dog buns in my freezer. But it's only a couple. But if I wanted to make a sandwich, a peanut butter and jelly sandwich, and I had no bread, if I knocked on all my neighbors' doors, I'm sure if 15 said no, one would say yes and give me a slice of bread or 2 slices of bread. And I would do the same for my neighbors. If they knocked on the door and I had it, they would have it. I just gave my friend the other day. Now, sanitizer is worth $1 million. But I just gave my friend the other day a little bottle of hand sanitizer because I had got a 2-pack at the Dollar Tree, the ones you can keep in your pocket. They had them 2 for $1, and I bought 2, and I really didn't want to get rid of it because I like the pocket ones when I have to run out. But he's been running and doing favors for me. He's been picking up things at the store and dropping them off to me. So one day we were talking, he said he didn't have any hand sanitizer. So I gave him my little bottle. And then I'm like, I pray I don't need it because we're not even at the peak of this yet. No, where am I at? Where am I at? Oh, a community working together during an emergency makes sense. Talk to your neighbors about how you can work together. When this virus first came out, when it wasn't even in the States, there's a prayer meeting I go to where I live. And one of the things I prayed was, God, if this thing gets bad, help us as a community help one another. If we need help. Like me, I haven't really had time to cook. I got sick and then I've been cleaning like crazy to get all those germs out of here. And so I really haven't had time to cook. And I really don't have, um, I don't have enough to cook like a big pot of spaghetti or something, but I would have no problem cooking a big pot of spaghetti. Spaghetti's cheap. Well, everything's expensive nowadays. Used to be a cheap meal, but you can make some spaghetti with some meat sauce or something, and you can make a huge pot and feed people. It's just that one, I don't buy spaghetti. I don't really eat it. But if I was craving it, that would be a nice time to have it. I could make a big pot, take me a little bit out, and give the rest away. I even thought about that. I thought I should just cook a meal once a week until this is over and just, you know, post it because I used to do it with my cake pops. When my granddaughter and I were making my cake pops, I can't eat all them things. I still have the ones from the first batch in the freezer. But I used to just set them out and tell people, help yourself. And they would go. So, but I'm sure, like for some people that maybe can't cook or, just make a meal. If quite a few, there's 7 days a week. If seven of us did it, we could supply food and then we could do it once a week. But, I hope if it gets to that point, we help one another. But I'm surprised about my prayer people. They haven't even called to check on me. One has called and said, how are you feeling? But I meant to send them a text last night to touch base with each of them too, because I've not been out other than to take my garbage out and check my mail. Well, I did have to run out the other morning. I had the mask on. I ran into the store to try to find some garlic after I left the other place, and then I came home. Be informed about what might happen. Some of the things you can do to prepare for the unexpected, such as assembling a supply kit and developing a family communications plan, are the same for both a natural or man made emergency. However, there are significant differences among potential terrorist threats, such as biological, chemical, explosive nuclear, and radiological, which will impact the decisions you make and the actions you take. By beginning a process of learning about these specific threats, you are preparing yourself to react in an emergency. That is so true. That is so true because I have been learning so much about viruses. I knew a little bit about them because, again, my lungs. And but I've been learning a lot. I have really been trying to read and understand. And, I mean, if the experts who have been in the field all their life can't understand this virus, I surely can't. But I do enjoy learning about this thing and watching people's videos and having them tell their story about how it affected them. I love social media. That's why I said I really wouldn't be surprised if they shut it down, like if it got too crazy, because social media is a good way to spread the panic. And I could see them shutting it down if they had to and just taking control and saying, no, we're just using the television and radios. I could see that happening to avoid a potential not pandemic. What's it called? What's it called? Anyways, my poor mind. What is it called? Like a hysteria, but there's another word for it. Pandemonium. A pan a pandemic of pandemonium is what we'd have. So go to www.ready.gov to learn more about potential terrorist threats and other emergencies, or call 1-800-BE-READY for a free brochure. But that is true. Just be prepared. And here we go. The next line. Be prepared to adapt this information to your personal circumstances and make every effort to follow instructions received from authorities on the scene. With these simple preparations, you can be ready for the unexpected. Get ready now. Being prepared, I'm telling you, really does calm the panic and the fear that people are, experiencing. Okay, number 4. How much more of this? Not much more. Okay, we're almost done. Number 4, get involved. What I've got almost an hour. Get involved in preparing your community. After preparing yourself and your family for possible emergencies, take the next step and get involved in preparing your community. Join Citizen Corps, which actively involves citizens in making our community and our nation safer, stronger, and better prepared. We all have a role to play in keeping our hometowns secure from emergencies of all kinds. That's exactly what they're telling us right now. We all have a role in this to slow this bad boy down. That's what they're telling us. Wash your hands. Stay in if you do not have to go out. Stay out of the room with somebody who's showing symptoms. Stay 6 feet from people. Do your social distancing. Do not host things with people over 100 guests coming and people are complaining because things are canceled. I'm like, come on. They may be saving your mother's life, your father's life, your grandmother, your grandfather. It's the elderly and the people with underlying health issues. I mean, it's shutting down their organs. So why wouldn't you want to stay in to help save a life? I don't understand. So anyways, people are people. We all have a role to play in keeping our hometowns secure from emergencies of all kinds. Citizen Corps works hard to help people prepare, train, and volunteer in their communities. So go to www.citizencorps.gov for more information and to get involved. Let me put this up here because I know with these teeth in, I can't pronounce certain words right. And then I have to talk a certain, like I know people have a hard time hearing what I'm saying because I can't talk right because the teeth might come flying out if I say certain words. So it is www.citizencorps.gov, corpse with an S there, if you want that website address. So that's it. That's all that's on there. I thought there was a lot more, but that's it. And it was very good information. And now I'm going to show you what is in my bag. How do you fold the thing up? Oh gosh, I'll figure it out. How ridiculous. So I think I showed you guys my laminated thing, didn't I? I pulled that out first. So they had this in there and they put, the people who gave me this bag, they put some of the stuff in here. It was a starter bag for an emergency kit. So this to laminate any important papers, social security card, will, driver's license, whatever. Medication. I have a lot of medication in this bag. But you can see some of it expired, but it's really old. 6/29/16, because that's what I do. I would take my old medication and put it in the bag. And then when I used to check the bag, I would take the old medication out, take it to the police station and drop it off in that box. And then the newer old medication, I would put it in the bag, but I would replenish it. So, but anyways, I have a lot of medication in here. And like this one here is my pain meds, because Lord knows if I have to go somewhere and I'm days without my pain meds, you might as well kill me right there. You might as well. I tried coming off these meds before, so you might as well just kill me because it ain't happening. These, this is why you replenish the bags. These I don't even take anymore. So that's why you replenish the bag, and that's just my hormone. But then I had this in there, and this is one of those lamp headlights. You know, if it's dark and the electric's out, then at least you can see. And I think I got that when I was like on all the reviews or something. Somebody sent me that. Again, more medication. I had like some old muscle relaxers in here, like split in half. I think this is them because I didn't even know what these were. And they're like muscle relaxers cut in half because I can't take them things. And I thought, if I was in that much pain and needed it, and they're so old. It's from 2012. I think this was the one. Yeah, 2012. Oops, can't show it. Look, 2012. Wait, what am I showing? Yeah, that is the date. Is that the date? Yes. It doesn't look the same in the camera. Anyways, it's from October 2012. So you know that's old. Then this used to sit in my granddaughter's dollhouse. It was a stick-up light, you know. So it runs off a battery. So all I'd have to do is get some batteries in here. But, you know, because I'd be sad if the light's out and I'm like, well, I have this, but I forgot to put batteries in the bag. Okay, well, what good's this gonna do? But this little bugger is great. And plus, they have those little ones at the Dollar Tree you can buy. You can even keep those and a couple batteries on hand, and you've got light. Then this is something they mentioned in the thing. This has just changed. I said I should probably put a couple dollar bills in here because they always say like if the electric or something goes down where we can't use our debit cards, you need to keep a little bit of cash on hand. I didn't have any cash to keep on hand at the time, so there's probably $1 worth of change in here, if even. But it's better than nothing if you've got to run in the store and buy something. So then this was in there, this instant cold pack. Because imagine if you twist your ankle, if you have to run or you're going down steps and you twist your ankle. These I think you can get at the Dollar Tree. I think Dollar Tree is excellent probably for stocking up on an emergency kit because just buy a dollar for it. It's excellent. They have everything: compasses, what are they called? Microscopes, or what are they called? Magnifying glass. They have everything at the Dollar Tree, so it's like the best place to stock up for your emergency bag. So I've got a toothbrush in here. At first, when I looked, I was like, what is this in there for? It's a toy. But then I realized, no, it's a toothbrush holder. So if I had to open my toothbrush and let's say I was stuck staying in a center or something, I don't want my toothbrush just floating all around. So at least I could put it in there. And then I had some mouthwash. It might be a bit old, so I may need to change this out or just buy a new one at the Dollar Tree or Walmart for 97 cents. Toothpaste, I think this is pretty old too. October, it looks like, of 2017. So I may want to swap this out. But still, I have toothpaste, toothbrush, and mouthwash. And tissues. You can get like an 8-pack of tissues at the Dollar Tree. So you can have a bunch of packs of tissues. Bottled water. I'm sure this has been in the bag since I first set it up. I should probably swap it out, maybe put a fresh one. But again, if you are in a crisis and don't have water, you will drink this water or wash your hands with it or brush your teeth, whatever you need to do, but you'll use it. But yeah, you should have water in your bag. I can't really put more than one. It'd be too heavy. More meds, which I've got to swap out definitely. This was, they're probably all dry. No, they still feel moist. These are like hand wipes from the Dollar Tree. They still feel moist. And then there's some alcohol wipes in there. Even if they're not moist, dump some water on it. If you want like the cleaning agent from it, just try to revive it with some water. And then I have a bar of soap, which I'm thinking they must have given me this because I don't like ivory, or else maybe I bought it from the Dollar Tree. But I cannot, ivory makes me itch. So then this I know needs swapped out. I know it. I haven't bought these in forever. But again, if there's an emergency, a crisis, and I needed to eat, I don't care if this thing was 17 years old, it's going to get 8. If my sugar starts dropping, actually, I was thinking, when I went through here, I thought I should probably put some candy in there, make sure there's always candy. Because if my sugar starts dropping bad, this wouldn't be enough. This little thing here. And the paper we just read recommended protein bars. So that would probably be better. And if I check the bag often, even keep stuff in there like jerky, things that can give you some real protein. Okay, that's all. Things that can give you some real protein to give you some energy if you need it, because you can't be out there struggling, trying to overcome a catastrophe and you have no energy and no strength. And so I like food, I got to eat. But anyways, a whistle. I'm sure they put this in the kit because I didn't have a whistle. But you need a whistle in case you get lost or sidetracked from people, or if you fall and break your ankle and nobody knows that you're over in the ravine, start blowing the whistle if you have your bag. If you haven't lost your bag, because sometimes people lose their things. And then I have a plastic bag in here, garbage bag, which is good because you don't know if you need to if your clothes get soiled and you need to get them off of you, but you don't want them. You can use this for anything. It's a garbage bag, whatever you need it for. Even if you got to put over your mouth and do this to protect yourself, whatever you need it for. When you're in a crisis, believe me, you become very inventive. You will. Most people do. Most people. um, gloves. I had gloves in there. I was like, oh wow, I'm so happy I was prepared. I got gloves. They've been in there so long. I'd probably put them on and they'd break. I asked my friend the other day to get me some garlic if he was going to the store. And so he came back with some garlic. And I don't like people picking out my food. I just don't, because a lot of people don't care. They just shop and they buy because they're in a hurry. But because I have the time, I really shop for my food very carefully. So, anyways, he brought me the garlic back. And I think he got it from Target. And one of the, when you take the bulb of the garlic apart, one of them was so dry that it cracked and powder came out. It had turned into garlic powder. I've never, but last but not least, and this was the first thing I saw when I opened the bag. I don't know why I pulled it out. I don't know why I went in that cabinet. I have no clue. But I saw the bag and said, oh, let me check my emergency prepared bag. And as soon as I opened it, this was on top. Look at that. Look at that. I'm running around here. I don't have a mask. I'm limited on masks. Thank you, Jesus, because he provided three. Because there's two surgical masks in there, not just one. See the strings? There are two. Wait, this should be four. No, there's two. Yeah, there are two surgical masks in there, and they're clean. Then there is an N95. It's not too clean though. I don't think it picks up on the camera, but it's kind of dirty here. But I'm telling you what, if you gotta wear it, you'll put that bad boy on. And I didn't even know I had that. I'm like, where'd this come from? I never saw a blue one like that. It's just amazing the things. Come on, I can't even open it. I guess I'd be in trouble if I can't open it to get that. Bag won't even open. Well, I'm gonna leave it in there and leave it sit like that. Wow, that was hard to open. But yes, indeed, there is a nice N95. This thing just you just cannot get close with this camera. And I don't think I don't know if it's medical grade. I think it's just industrial, but it's a mask. It's a mask. And even though it's dirty, so health. Oh no, this is a medical one. This says right on here, healthcare particulate respirator and surgical mask. So this is the good one, actually. This is the one I should wear tomorrow when I have to go out. And because it's a little dirty, I should just put the blue one on underneath it. And I know sometimes they don't work as well when they're old or not cared for properly. But guys, some protection is better than none, in my opinion. And you have to remember, I'm speaking for me because I have lung disease. Somebody who's young and healthy, they keep telling you, you don't have to worry much because most younger, healthier, even older, healthier people are recovering from it. They're experiencing mild symptoms like the flu, and they're recovering it. It's the people like me who have lung disease, people who have heart disease, diabetes, liver, autoimmune diseases, things, where you don't have the best system. But I did hear a promising story. There was a guy, I can't remember his age, but when he caught the coronavirus, his son, they had them on the news, and his son actually said, we thought it was his death sentence, but he's recovering nicely. And I'm, for some reason, I was thinking he was in his 90s. I was thinking, but I don't like giving any information if it's not accurate. But yeah, but he is recovering. So there's hope for all of us, but still be careful. But that's my emergency prepared bag. If you have one and you have different things in yours, let me know what it is. Or if you think there's something that I forgot to put in this one, let me know. And I know there are some things, but I'm definitely going to follow their advice and set up a different one that, well, you know what? Would be the sense in having that one because I would be here. So everything I would need would be here. Maybe they're thinking of people who live in big houses and they're like, just have it all in one. But yeah, I get it. I get it. If there was like a chemical warfare or something like that, and you had to seal up everything, you would not have time to run through a house grabbing everything you need. You need to grab up that box and go. But I don't need that because if I had to leave, I could just grab my bag. And if I had to run in one room, to be honest, I probably have almost everything I need in each room because that's how I live. I have lung disease. I stay tired a lot. I hate walking from room to room when I'm exhausted. And so I try to have everything that I need in each room. That's why I have 1,000 garbage cans in my in my apartment. I hate when I say house and people say, you don't live in a house. Big deal. You know what I mean. My home. My home. But that's it. But this really made me smile. I said, thank you, God. Thank you, God. And I'm running around here crying because I don't have enough masks and I did it to myself. I found out about this virus January 28th. That was so much time. I was just tired. I had other things going on that really were a priority that could have affected, that was affecting my finances. I had a lot of stuff going on that I had to take care of. And so I missed that window of opportunity to get masked. And then by the time, by then I was stressed. I was trying to get food in here and make sure I had water and toilet paper. No, honestly, I purchased my toilet paper before I even knew about a virus because I always go to Sam's Club to get my toilet paper. Always. I have for years. And so I had toilet paper. So when it started running out, I thought, you know what, thank God at least I have enough to get me through to next month. And then I bought tissues at the Dollar Tree. So I said, if I run out, tissues from the Dollar Tree work just as well. And I have paper towels. That wouldn't be fun, but but I don't think it needs to be that bad. Like I said, don't panic if you're just prepared. If you're just like my panic was when I didn't know enough about it, when I didn't feel like they were being honest about some of the things they were saying, when I didn't have the stuff in my home that I needed. But once I started watching it more, like I said, there's two doctors I listen to. Dr. Jen, who is Ashton, who is on Good Morning America most times. I mean, I never heard of her till I started seeing her on Good Morning America. And Dr. Fauci from the CDC. I always felt like he was being honest. There were like 2 times that I heard him say stuff where I thought, that doesn't make sense. That doesn't really go with what he said. But that's when he would come out on the stage with all the politicians. But anyways, I feel like he is very honest in telling us what's going on. I feel like he's not holding back. He told us in that last interview he did with the politicians, not the interview, but when he had to go before, forgive my ignorance, I don't know politics, I hate politics, when he had to go before like Congress or whatever, and he said, this is going to get worse before it gets better. And he was the one, I think, I'm pretty sure, that recommended, and CDC didn't tell people how to handle this. They recommended it, and each state is listening. I'm happy when I turn on that TV and I hear another governor or a mayor. No, the governors are coming out. And when I hear them say, no mass gatherings in church. I just talked to my girlfriend the other day, and we were talking about this. And she said, okay, let me ask you something. What do you think about church? I said, I think they need to shut down. She said, really? She said, that's not going to happen. I said, no, it probably won't, but I think it needs to. I said, well, let me put it to you like this. They need to be very careful. And she said, because the Black church isn't going to shut down. And I said, then they need to be very careful. And so I was so glad when they finally came out and said no mass gatherings over 100, which meant the churches needed to not congregate. Most churches have their services online. You can find a ton of services online on Sunday mornings. It actually makes you quite lazy. You don't want to go to church because you can turn on and everybody pops up in your notifications. Joel Osteen, the Potter's House, Joyce Meyer, Juanita Bynum, they all pop up in here. They all pop up in your notifications. So you can sit at home and catch a thousand sermons. But I think to slow down and miss church for a month is not going to kill anybody like the virus would kill them. I just it just makes perfect sense to me. Just makes perfect sense. Why would you want to? Church people like to hug. Church people like to touch. Church people like to, they're up in each other's. Oh, hi, how are you? No. Mm-mm. I had to tell somebody the other day when they dropped something off to me. I had to keep stepping back, like you're too close to me, and I had a mask on. I was like, you're too close. They don't know enough. This is a new virus. They're highly educated, intelligent, have experience with viruses, and they're telling us we don't know, we don't know, we don't know when certain questions are asked. So you just have to listen, be prepared, stay vigilant on keeping yourself safe, which will help keep other people safe in return. Because you are going to have that group of people who just don't give a fiddly flying frump, if you know what I'm trying to say. I don't know where that came from. I guess I need to stop talking. But you're always going to have those people who don't care. You're going to have young people who don't understand, like the girl in the elevator who said, they said it's like the flu, and I've already had the flu. She better be glad she's young. No, it's misinformation. Just be informed. Just be informed, like the elderly people. You know, they had to be informed. And then you still had elderly people saying, I'm just going to live. Well, you go ahead, but it's not fair to hurt other people in your bad decision. Yeah, in your bad, I thought that was a piece of Twizzler. In your bad decision and judgment to say, this isn't going to stop me. I'm going to keep living my life. It's not fair to other people. We're so selfish. We're such a selfish generation. I said that even about the nursing field, with the medical field. We are so selfish. They are telling us that they do not want to overwhelm our medical system. Some of them are already. I know I have COVID in my area. I have it. It's in my area. Although we have 25 cases in the state, it's in my area. And I know from talking to people in the medical field that they're already overwhelmed. They're not seeing, the hospitals in my area are not seeing anybody but sick patients, no other cases. I shouldn't say the hospital, the family medicine. They are not taking any cases except sick people. One of them have changed their hours, so they are doing things. Look at the state that has the drive-through testing. They're doing things, and they're already overwhelmed, and they have families. They have loved ones and kids and parents, and they have sick people in their family. They have families that they love, that they want to go home to, but they get up every day and they go to work to take care of somebody else's loved one, which could be your mother, your grandmother, your aunt, your uncle, your husband, your wife, your child. And we're so selfish that we don't want to stay in for 2 weeks. We're that selfish as a society that we don't want to sit down for 2 weeks and take a break. We'd rather run out there, catch this virus, and keep spreading it like wildfire. Selfish. Selfish. No concern for those frontline workers out there, the real soldiers right now, not the military soldiers, the medical soldiers. This is a war. This is a war against the virus. They keep saying that. This is a war against the virus. And the medical team are the frontline soldiers. Thank God for them. Thank God for it. I've said all my life since my lungs collapsed. Nurses are angels. Some of them. Some of them. I had a couple bad people, but I'm not going to complain because I was in the hospital almost a year. So to run into a couple of bad nurses within a year, that's not a bad number. So the majority of them are absolute angels. They're just amazing. Doctors are amazing that they're willing to give up their life to go to school and get all that education and miss out on so many things that other people get to do that work normal jobs. But they, the ones that love their job and do it well and really, really care about their patients and God bless them. Do you know what that takes? Do you know a lot of them probably have fear each day they get up and go to work because they know that they could get infected? They know it. Even with all that PPE on, it happened over in China. I'm telling you, I watch a couple that makes YouTube videos. His wife was a nurse on the front line, and she caught it, even with all her protective gear, because with that protective gear, they can catch it as they're taking it off. If the virus, if that's why there's a certain way to take those masks off and put them on, because if that virus is contaminated, the PPE, they can get sick as they're taking it off and putting it in that biohazard bin. That's why they're trained to put things on a certain way, take things off a certain way. And so they really risk their life. They really do. And I've talked to some of them, and all you can say to them is, God bless you and stay safe. But we as a society need to chill. Life ain't that important that we can't stop for a couple weeks. And I'm not talking about people who have to go to work, who have to work in the grocery stores, who have to drive the trucks to get the food there, I'm not talking to all those people who their fields have to stay running right now. I'm talking to the ones that are upset because the bars are closed. Come on. We live in a world of some of them are young kids. We live in a world with all this technology. FaceTime. Sit at home, get you a bottle of wine, and FaceTime your friend if you need to party and drink that much. We all have to do our part in this, guys. We all do. This is not a fire drill. And I only laugh because I'm like, this is really happening. It's really happening. And I think it's so real to me because, like I said, we have COVID in my area. You know, um, the county where my granddaughter goes to school, they had a case there, and I was like, oh, I wish they'd shut their school. And then my granddaughter went to this basketball game about a week and a half ago, 2 weeks ago, and she said, there were so many people there. It was so packed. We couldn't even find a seat. And I said, oh, God. I said, imagine if somebody had COVID and spread it. How many of you would have got sick? In a basketball court, in a basketball arena, and they get to running up and down that field, and folks are shouting and screaming. You know how hot it gets in there if you've ever been to one. And you know what? To be honest, we don't know. Because, like they said in Washington State, before people started getting sick, they could have been sick for 4 weeks. That virus could have been rolling around for 4 weeks. And that's exactly why they're telling people the numbers are going to go up, because they know that virus has been making people sick before they show symptoms up to 4 weeks. And they know that once they start testing, a lot of people are going to test positive. That's why they're trying to shut this thing down. Well, slow. That's why they're shutting things down, to try to slow this thing down. And people still want to play around with it. Selfish. That's all I have to say. Selfish. And I know that almost each of us have family members in the medical field. I got a whole bunch of them in the medical field. And you got to sit up and worry about them because they're working in nursing home and hospitals and surgical rooms, and you got to worry about them. And people want to run around like, they close this, they close that. It's not forever. It's not. It's going to open back up. Can you not go to the library for 2 weeks? Can you reread a book that you had? I mean, it's not that serious, is it? They're really doing it for our best interest. They really are. It's not like punishment, like you guys were bad. We're going to put you in the corner. No, there's a virus that has taken out all, what is it? Is it over 5,000 now? And I know in comparison to the amount of people in the world, that seems small because that's what a lot of people will say, even on the media. Don't focus on the numbers. Don't get caught up on the numbers. How can you not? Each number is a person who lost their life. I'm sorry, I didn't even see your comment. If you want to keep living your life, do it at a 6-foot distance, sir or ma'am. I wear a mask and go to work. Grandma isn't playing. Neither is this one. Because until God calls me home, I have work to do here. And I know you know that. I know you know it, over 50 and fabulous. Until God calls us, until the day He says our time is done, we have work to do. And so, but the people of faith that think you can just have faith and stay well through this, faith is good, but wisdom is better in a time like this. Wisdom. God gives us wisdom. Update your background app. You may be missing Skype calls. Wisdom is better. Wisdom is a gift. Read what the Bible says about wisdom and understanding. Wisdom is a gift. And, God gives us that gift, and He doesn't want us to just, well, He gives us lots of gifts, and we just put it up on the shelf. But wisdom is a gift. And in times like this, we have to use wisdom. We have to know when to say, okay, this is serious. This is not a fire drill. This is the real deal. When we hear the numbers on TV that Oklahoma or whoever lost their first person to COVID, that's true. That's real. And that's somebody's family member. Somebody is sitting at home, hurt, sad, and crying now because they've lost their wife, their husband, their daughter, their son-in-law. These are real people. And again, this isn't to put fear in people. I don't want to put fear in anybody. There's no need to fear. The key is preparation. Just be prepared. Whatever you need to do to be prepared, even if it means making up a little kit while you have this downtime, so that you will be prepared. So that if an emergency happens, you can grab that kit. You can, you have stuff together. You're not running all through your home like, what do we need? What do we need? I need to take this. I need to. That's panic, and that produces nothing good. But if an emergency ever happens, and you've got your bag or your box or your kit, and you know exactly where it is, let's say a hurricane's coming in. I know here they sound sirens. And well, I'm sure most places do. I'm sure. So let's say that hurricane siren goes off. Or let's say it starts flooding and water starts coming in up under your door. Grab that emergency bag and book. But if you're not prepared, you're going to feel a lot better grabbing that bag, knowing, okay, if I get stuck up on this roof, at least I got me a candy bar and some fresh water. And it might be even good. I just thought of this. It might be even good if you have a bag like this, put it in a waterproof bag, put it in like some plastic that'll zip. The Dollar Tree has amazing plastic bags. They come in, I think, 4 different sizes: small, medium, large, and extra, extra large. And they're absolutely amazing. I keep a lot of my stuff in here in those bags. And yeah, they're wonderful. I don't know how waterproof they are, but they've got to be better than no protection. Take your bag like that, put it in one of the Dollar Tree's big Ziploc bags, zip it up, and it has a handle. Just pick it up and go. It may rip a little bit, but anyways, 1 hour, 24 minutes. I have been out here a long time. You guys are going to get tired of me with me being stuck indoors because I am by myself. One of my neighbors texted me last night and said, "How are you doing?" And I said, "Or how are you feeling?" I said, "Much better, thank you." And I said, "How are you?" And they said, what did they say? Something about tired of tired of the isolation. And I thought I really would have said, want to come up and watch a movie, but I can't have people coming in and out of here because I don't know what they're bringing. And I have disinfected and I have wiped down from having that cold. And every time somebody comes in, they would, you don't know what they're bringing in. So that's why I meet people in the hall. If they bring me stuff, like one of my friends brought me two avocados and some garlic. And I said, I'll meet you in the hall. And they set the stuff on the floor and walked away. It's because I had my mask on. Because I don't know what's outside of my door. That's why I say if we get it, we get it. There's nothing you can do. But you just use wisdom to try to protect yourself. Just to do the best you can. Some good information here about the cotton t-shirts. Anyways, I gotta go. I'm hungry. I gotta eat. And I've enjoyed chatting. I'm glad I found that kit this morning. And I'm sure I'll be back. Well, tomorrow I have to go out. And I'm not crazy about it. Oh, look, I hit the wrong one. But I do have to go out tomorrow, so I don't know if I'll make a video or not. But I don't even want to be out there. I feel safe right here. Bye, guys. Stay blessed and stay safe. Just pray. Just pray.